Welcome to Geo or Geog or whatever it's called, 468 Internet GIS, and I'm calling it web cartography. I'll use the two terms somewhat interchangeably throughout the semester. My name's Ian. You'll meet me tomorrow or in a few days. I forget when this course starts exactly. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview and run through of several technologies, websites, and programs that we'll be using this semester. And I figured the best way to do it was rather than spell it all out, although I already did that in a really long email over winter break, it would be better just to show you the hoops, so to speak. So to start with, I want to basically, I have a couple of requests. This semester, one thing we're going to be trying to do is is discuss things over Twitter or share links that we find to helpful tutorials, etc. over Twitter. And so the first thing I asked you guys to do in your email and that you should do in this course is if you don't have a Twitter account, it's okay, but create one. And if you want to make it somewhat disposable, if you maybe create a second one if you already have one that you don't want me to see, whatever, that's fine. Um, but you can basically create an account that you'll use for this course and that you will follow cartographers, web cartographers via, see what they're up to, follow some of the technology firms that make the APIs that we'll be using, what they're posting, their newest releases, and also have discussions. So once you create an account, and I guess maybe I should log out and log back in to show you, but I have like this two-step verification, so I won't bother. You can spruce it up a bit, you can do whatever you want, but what I do want you to do is we're going to use the hashtag Geo468 this semester. So anytime you have something interesting about Geo468, you can put this hashtag in your tweet, if it's a link or whatnot. And basically, anytime you want to see what's up in the class, if you type the hashtag Geo468 into the search menu in Twitter, you'll see everything that everyone's posted with that hashtag. Right now, I'm the only person that did it. I did it 53 minutes ago. So let's fill this thing up. I gave you a list of people you might want to follow on here, but basically at Leaflet.js, that's a pretty big JavaScript library that we'll be using this semester. Basically everyone's on here. CartoDB, that's another one. Making really cool animated and thematic maps on here. And what's another one? Mapbox. Mapbox just came out with a whole script that makes their web mapping also a web GIS, and so you can see what they're up to and latest technologies, etc. So follow these people. I'm already following them, otherwise it'd be a tag. If you have any questions about this, just keep playing around. And again, I don't expect this, you don't have to make this a personal account, or you can just use your personal account, no big deal. But create a Twitter account, it's the best way to stay on top of what's going on in the world. Okay, so next, Code Academy. That's another piece of software that I talk a lot about, and you guys will be basically living and breathing this for the foreseeable future, at least at the start of this course. So what we have here are a bunch of different courses that you can take online. These were, I think they're largely paid for by, I want to say Google and Facebook, this corporation. I could be totally wrong about that, but basically they're trying to get everyone to code because it's not that, it doesn't have to be scary and hard. And once you can code certain, basically you can get a good job, etc. So on here, what I asked you guys to do was do the make a website, sorry, blanking here, make a website course, and I just tested how long it would take by going through 80% of it, and of course I have a background experience in this, so it didn't take me as long as maybe it would you, but theoretically it should take about 3 hours, I think they said, to get through the whole thing. One thing I will say is you don't really have to worry so much about the bootstrap stuff, although that will be useful. And actually, I had you do make a website, not make an interactive. But go through that because you're going to need to know how to do this in order to. I'm trying to get to the point where you guys would get. Maybe I have to click here. My apologies. Right, estimated course time 3 hours. You guys need to know how to do this within a week. Now, one of the rules of thumb and basically the map making world. And this really might sound scary or whatnot, but because technology changes so quickly, I remember going to a great talk with some peers that now work at the New York Times graphics department, which is also a really good thing to follow on Twitter. And basically, what they were saying was you need to be able to learn a new piece of software or a new coding scheme in 2 weeks. That's all it really, you have 2 weeks to learn anything, and then basically you need to know it in the workforce. And that's just how it is. And so people might hand you a tutorial, they might hand you a really boring book, but you have 2 weeks to learn it. And that's how it is at the Times. You know, hey, we want to do this. I don't know how to do this. You have 2 weeks. Figure out the software to do it. And though I'm not trying to push you that hard in this class, because we want to get to actually making maps, you have 1 week to figure out HTML and CSS. It's not that complex. You don't need to know everything about it. You just need to know how it works so you can hack something together. You need to make a website. And then from there, we're going to start playing with jQuery and JavaScript, which are basically coding script languages that help you make your websites interactive. And they're also the script languages used to manipulate any Internet GIS and web map API that's out there. So once you know these skills and know what you're doing with them, even just, kind of beginner skills, you can start creating really cool things. So I know that this is daunting. I know it's somewhat terrifying, I'm sure, particularly for those of you that have never coded before. But you know what? You can do it. And Codecademy's courses make it really kind of fun. You're going to get frustrated this semester. In fact, this first week maybe. You're going to want to pull your hair out at times. You'll probably even cry at times. And I'm not trying to scare you. Actually, I went through this too. I'm still here. I'm somewhat sane. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you positive reinforcement, and I'm here to help you troubleshoot. But don't fall behind in this course, okay? Particularly if you put the work in early, it's going to pay off. And this course, I guarantee you, this course is the course that if you do all the work and you start to figure things out, it will get you the job. It'll get you hopefully a good job, because web development now, be it mapping or anything, is where the money is. Okay? So, Codecademy. Check it out. Your first assignment is to go through, make a website, and then exercise 1, as you'll see on the website, is to create a website, and we'll talk more about that in class. All right. Now that I've scared the bejesus out of you, or whatever, choose your deity of choice. As you'll see, there's a jQuery one you can do. Make an interactive website. Don't worry about it too much. The jQuery one is the one you're going to do next, probably, so you could start that. If you've already done make a website, start looking at the jQuery one. Okay, so next, once you've done these tutorials, and some of you hopefully have started them, where do you go from there? I mean, it's great you're doing them on this website, etc. Well, you're going to want to download a program called Brackets. It's just brilliant. All right, and it's open source, but I think it's basically funded by or largely supported by Adobe, which is a nice move for Adobe. So if you go to brackets.io, not com, but IO, you can download it, and you can download it with this thing called Extract by Adobe, which is also awesome. We might not play with it this semester, but you might want to play with it on the side. It's pretty sweet. And so download this. You can install it on your own computer. One super cool thing about this semester and the skills you're learning in here is you can make web maps with basically a web browser and a text editor. You need no other software. Everything, all the coding we're doing this semester will be done. You could do it right in Notepad or whatever it is on a Mac, Text Wrangler or whatever. That's the brilliant thing about open source web technology. That being said, not all programs are created equal. And when you download Brackets, which is open source and it runs on basically every platform except for mobile devices, unfortunately, you will get something that looks like this. And actually, let me close all this out. All right, so it's a text editor. It's a beautiful glorified text editor for programming. And so what we can do is go to File, New. And here we are, line 1. When you're coding, it's nice to know which line you're on, because when you have an error, it'll tell you which line the error is on, as we'll see. But right here, we can just create an HTML document. And as you can see, if you're typing something like this, it takes a lot of time, because you have to type head, close the head, etc. And that's kind of a pain. What's awesome about brackets is that once you save it, so I'll hit save. Where should I save this? I'll call it delete me. Sorry, I mean it's worth looking at, but it's not worth keeping. So if we call it delete me and you put a .html, brackets will know this is an HTML document. And as soon as I hit save, if you look down here, it says, hey, it's an HTML document. These are all the different documents it knows how to read the code of. Okay, now watch. In head, if I type title, close, it automatically creates the close bracket for me. It knows that it's an HTML document. It basically does half the typing for me. Demo page. All right, we go down here. I'm going to type body. It knows to put a closed body. So this is a very powerful tool. It'll also show you if there's an error. For example, if I put div and then I do this and then I put paragraph, I hit save, it's going to basically, well, it'll show you a red, I can't get an error now, which is insane because when I'm coding it's all errors and I'm always screaming. But it'll show you a red line, or it'll highlight the line where there's an error if there is, which is really nice. You can go back and check it out. One other super cool thing about this is exactly what I was just showing you. Actually, let me open a different one, something like 3 oranges, which you look at code like this and your eyes want to explode and you start to panic. But when you click in a box, it will show you here. If I click in the style up here, it'll highlight where it closes. And so you can see that if things have closed. SVG starts here at the top, it closes here. And this is really useful when you're getting more complex, um, when you're getting into more complex coding such as this, that you can actually see it highlights where it ends, etc., and you can find mistakes quite easily. All right, when we talk about JavaScript, it's also this. So if you save a file with .js, that means it's a JavaScript file. Notice down here it says JavaScript. Perfect. When it's in JavaScript, it does great things for you. Like when you double click over a color, it'll show you what color it is. And so again, just a super useful tool. And then also CSS, the third type of code we'll be learning this semester. And all of this probably looks really scary, but once you go through the Code Academy, yes, you won't understand it all, and yes, you'll still have to use Google to look things up to figure out, hey, how do I do this? That's okay. But this will make sense within a couple of weeks here. If not total sense, you'll be able to read it. Don't panic yet, but get working. All right, cool. So that's brackets. It's free. It's awesome. Use it. All right, we'll close this down. Let's talk about Canvas. I don't want to save. No, don't save that. So let's go to Canvas. Here we are, Canvas, our lovely Canvas thing. Internet Geographic Information Systems, probably the driest title ever that has ever existed. All right, so basically this course, because we're doing web development, I decided on the side last weekend, it was kind of ad hoc, a little late, to code a website for the course in brackets from scratch, just because I thought, well, if I'm making you guys code, I might as well, start brushing off the dust from my coding skills. So basically, we're going to be using a website, which I'll provide a link here in Canvas shortly to, and that link will link to the website where your assignments will be posted, a variety of information. This video will probably be posted there, links to YouTube demos that I've created and resources, etc., the syllabus, the course syllabus, and whatnot. However, Canvas will be important for several things. First of all, for you, probably your grades, which I know you guys care about a lot, and that's good. Your grades will be here. Also, uploading your assignments. Now, when I say uploading, that's kind of a misnomer. Basically, what you'll be doing is you'll be providing a URL, a hyperlink, to the web page, to the page where you've posted your assignment. So you're going to be creating a website on Geography Server Space, and then you will have pages on there with your assignments, and you will, given an assignment, for example, your first assignment is making the website, but you will post on Canvas under the assignment tab or whatever in the Dropbox a simple URL link to the map, your map online. Okay, so you're not really uploading a file, you're just providing me with a link so I can go to the website very quickly and check it out. But that will be done in Canvas. You will have readings on well, let me rephrase that. You'll have reading assignments, on Canvas, and a lot of the reading assignments I will be giving you reading quizzes. And the reason I'm doing that is not because I wrote the book I made you guys buy, but because I want to make sure you read it. So, and uh, we will discuss the book in class, and there's nothing worse than coming to a class to discuss something, and over half the class hasn't read it, and then the people that have read it feel kind of like, well, I don't want to answer all the questions. It's horrible. So you will be held accountable for, to take these reading quizzes before we discuss different chapters. What else was I going to say? There was something else. Oh, I will probably have some coding quizzes on here. Now, when I say coding quizzes, I will show you a block of text and say what's missing, what should go in here, etc. So it's not like I'm going to have you code a web page from scratch in the quiz, but I want to make sure you're going through the Codecademy tutorials and you're actually learning this stuff. And I want to keep you on it. So you'll probably have an HTML CSS online quiz shortly, like in a week, just to make sure that you're learning it. All right, so that's what this will be used for. I've broken the course down into modules. The first bit of the semester, I'll be talking a lot about what is Internet GIS and web mapping, and the second, and at the same time, you guys will be spending most of the time in class just getting you guys up to speed on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then we're going to move into web mapping. So after about 4 weeks, which 4, maybe 5, we'll see how long it takes. Really, the coding is key if you want to do any of this stuff. We will move into using an open source JavaScript library called Leaflet, which is now considered the de facto web mapping and increasingly web GIS interface for the world, basically, because it's open source. We'll be learning that and creating some really cool maps with that. And then the plan is to move into another technology called D3, data-driven documents. It's also a JS library, quite complex, and so we'll see. At this point, I plan to have you guys play with it. That may change. We may switch to something else, another API. However, with this, you can create not just maps, but incredible interactive graphics. And so we'll go from there. And then, of course, you'll have a final project. So really 3 big mapping projects this semester: Leaflet, D3, tentatively, and a final project. Those are kind of how we're going to break it down. Your design is expected to get better throughout the semester as you read the book, as you get better at coding the design, and as you become more comfortable with web mapping and web GIS. Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, the course website. So here's the course website. Oh, not working. Typical. Oh, I know why. It was in brackets. Well, anyway, so this is, as you can see up here, it's not posted yet. It's just running off the computer. But the syllabus, this is the most important thing. So basically, don't cheat. You know that. I expect you to show up at classes. I know it's 8 a.m., but if you don't show up, I can deduct points, and I will, because I need you there to troubleshoot and make sure you're learning the code. It sucks. I know it's only 2 days a week. Those of you that had me 3 days a week last semester feel lucky. Um, grade. Assignments, the 2 big assignments are with 25% of your grade each. So your leaflet assignment, your first map assignment, 25%, your D3 assignment, 25%. Your final project is only worth 20%. Why only 20%? Because you're not going to have as much time to work on it. And, that's just how it rolls. I need to make sure you learn the other 2 technologies. Quite honestly, my experience is people bomb their final projects. At the end of the semester, they're fried, so I don't want it to destroy you. Discussions, quizzes, and exercises. So basically, the online quizzes I do on coding and readings, just in-class discussions as we have them, and your exercises. So these preliminary exercises where you're learning coding, these are 30% of your grade. So I will continually update this calendar syllabus thing down here, the schedule, and I'll post links as I see fit. That's one reason I'm doing an online syllabus, simply so I can update it and give you guys links to useful information. But this is the tentative overview, and it will probably change. It's a work in progress. Notice it says tentative. All right. So I will post a link to this website on Canvas, and the website will change too because I just started it last week, so it's pretty heinous looking. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me on Twitter. Actually, Twitter probably is more effective than email half the time because I try to avoid my grandparents sending me spam and stuff in email, and it's a lot of meeting crap from JMU and stuff in my email inbox. So if you tweet me, there's a better chance I'll look at it. And yeah, hey, I'm really looking forward to this class. It'll be a lot of work, but I think it's going to be highly rewarding, not just for you, but also for me because I'm confident in JMU students. I think you guys are going to rock this. All right, let's get going.